What's going on, YouTube? Happy Wednesday. I'm gonna take some time from the business and finance to talk about this national case that everybody's talking about. Someone asked me my opinion, so I'm gonna give not my opinion, but just what I kind of think about this whole situation. And this is the Trayvon Martin's case. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that a lot of people say, "Oh, this is racist," or whatever kind of thing. Well, George Zimmerman is not he's not a Caucasian guy. The guy is like he's Hispanic. He's like Spanish. So it's not a black and white issue. That's the first thing. Second, this is your before I even get into what this is, I'm gonna give you an example. I was walking down the street the other day, and I had a tank top on, and just some jeans, and I was just kind of just walking up the street. And if you would have seen me, I'm not a small guy. I'm kind of a bigger guy. And there was this little girl who happened to be Caucasian. She's getting in her vehicle, and I'm walking down the street, and all of a sudden she just kind of looked out of the corner of her eyes. She was getting ready to go to the car to get something, and she saw me like coming toward her, and she immediately snaps, froze. Now, some people will say, "Oh my gosh, she was taught to be racist or whatever. She's scared of the big black man." I don't get caught up in all that. No. The girls probably saw me as a threat because I scared her when I was coming toward her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh." You see, here's the thing. I was with someone I know. I won't mention who they are. And there were some kids walking around the neighborhood, and they all had hoods on their head. They weren't African American, they weren't anything like that. And all of a sudden, this person made a comment, they're up to no good, because they were walking around with hoods on their head. And I asked the question, well, what is it about the hoods that make them no good? And then all of a sudden, the person really couldn't answer the question and wanted to change the subject, because, that's the first thing you see is a threat. Everybody has their own idea of a threat. If you're at the ATM and it's 2 a.m. and all of a sudden a car comes up to you, the music's blasting, the door opens, and the guy comes out of that car, I don't care if he's white, Caucasian, Spanish, whatever, you're going to look over your shoulder when you're in the ATM because you're in that parking lot by yourself. Your senses just kick in and you're like, "Oh, this guy looks like a threat." But maybe if the guy was in a suit and he got out of a BMW, maybe you would be at ease. Because David Chappelle had a joke one day, and basically he was talking about women, about them dressing in provocative and things like that. And he said, hey, if I see a guy with a policeman hat on and a police uniform in blue, I may go up to that guy and ask for direction because he looks like a police officer. So then he was talking about, well, if you see a lady with a short skirt on and, the breasts are hanging out and all this other kind of stuff, he basically was saying that he said, I'm not calling you, the word they use for women, but you're wearing the uniform of those women. So, excuse me, I'm not trying to say that Trayvon Martin was guilty. This is just a case of overreaction. It is said that there were African Americans that fit the description. Well, not fit the description, but there were African Americans roaming around that neighborhood. And this guy, being the guy he is for neighborhood watch or whatever, totally overreacted, made bad judgment, followed the kid when he wasn't supposed to follow the kid. He was instructed to let the police do their work, and he wanted to take matters in his own hand, and he definitely made a bad decision. And if you make a bad decision like that, you should be arrested. I mean, that's just, we all can't just go around assuming things and just thinking, hey, well, I have a gun and it's, and I'm licensed and everything like that, so I'm gonna go out and take matters into my own hand. No, even when a police officer, they have to use the discretion when it comes to different situations. So we as citizens definitely don't have the ability to do something like that. So what I'm saying is that a lot of times in life we all are guilty of stereotyping. You know, I used to stereotype against people who had tattoos. I thought these people couldn't be successful. I thought if you had a tattoo or something like that, you're ruining your chances to get a job. Some of you as parents, if your kid came to you today and said, "Hey, Dad, I want to get a sleeve," the reason why you don't want that kid to get that sleeve of tattoos is because you know how society would judge that kid. But when I was on tour with these guys, I found out there was a lot of millionaires who were in sleeves. So it's all a matter of education, not education in school and things like that, but being culturally educated. There's a lot of people who assume certain things about me, and we have a conversation and they're surprised, and vice versa. So I think we all have to be conscious of our stereotypes and judging a book, think that we can judge a book by its cover, and we can't. I've learned that in life, you can't do it. So I want to see what you guys feel about the situation. I'm going to put a link in this video that has the 911 call from a lady who was witnessing this from, not the girlfriend that was talking to the kid, but she heard, you can hear somebody saying help on the in the background. And I want you guys to be honest. This is a place of safe. If you think the kid was guilty, say it. If you think the kid was not guilty, say it. Don't be afraid. This is not a beat down session. This is for you to express the way you feel about this situation. So I just want to hear what you guys have to say about that. So with that said, guys, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Please subscribe, tell your friends about us, and until next time, signing off.